What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another Motovlog Monday. It's a gorgeous day. Where else would I rather be?
Hey guys, sorry for the interruption. Just needed to mention, because I forgot to say it during this motovlog, that during the time that I was putting together this video, I actually crossed that 250 subscribers threshold, and as promised, I have a $100 gift card to harley-davidson.com to be given away, and I actually picked at random for my first 250 subscribers the person who is winning that, and that is John Anderson right here. So, Mr. Anderson, if you could reply to my message that I left on the discussion tab of your YouTube channel and shoot me an email so I can figure out how to get that to you, that would be great. You have 1 week from the time that I upload this video to claim that gift card, and then I'm going to give it to the next person that I draw for my first 250 subscribers. And I need to mention that we are currently at 443 subscribers. So, if you are interested in winning that $100 gift card for crossing 500 subscribers, all you got to do is hit subscribe, like this video. As soon as I cross 500 subscribers, I'm going to pick a one at random and send them $100 to harley-davidson.com. So if you're interested in that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and you will be automatically entered. So that's all. Let's get back to the motovlog.
Nowhere else to be on a day like this except on a bike. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm the two-wheel teacher, as my name implies. I teach stuff 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. But I also happen to be a motorcyclist, a biker for short, if you will. And yes, one of my hobbies is doing this whole YouTube thing, talking to you guys about everything motorcycle related, motorcycle reviews, motovlogs, trips, tips and tricks, guides, how-tos, whatever, you know, that kind of stuff. So today's topic is a little bit different. This is a true motovlog where I'm on the bike and I'm just going to be talking to you guys about something that's been going on in the world, but specifically in my life, because I do a lot of talk about two-wheel things on my channel, but I've done pretty much nothing when it comes to the teacher part of my YouTube identity. So it's going to be a little bit different today, but you know, bear with me. Different's not bad, unless of course that different is how you teach. Oh my God, that's what we're talking about today. What is it like to be a teacher during this crazy coronavirus pandemic time? Let's get into it. So to give you all a little bit of my background, I grew up in Northeast Iowa, went to a, you know, good-sized 4A high school. I wasn't an athlete. I played some golf here and there. I did trap shooting. I don't really necessarily, at the high school level, consider either of those to be extremely involved sports. Don't get me wrong. They're skillful activities. My dad's actually a professional golfer, so I grew up with golf in my proximity all the time, but never forced us to play. He was always supportive of whatever activities we decided to participate in. But needless to say, I did have lessons and equipment, you know, sort of at my disposal. So I played a little golf here and there, but I never really got good. I was never too fascinated by it. Instead, I was the guy who, I was the band nerd. I was the choir geek. I was in band in elementary and middle school. I was in choir in middle school all the way through high school. You know, I was good at it. I liked to sing. I understood music. I liked musicals. I very quickly figured out that it was a lot more fun to spend an hour at rehearsal surrounded by a bunch of pretty girls than it was to be hot and sweaty with a bunch of other guys in a locker room for too long. But, you know, there's advantages to both. This was just high school me. So I was in choir, I did music, I did all that sort of thing, and ended up getting scholarships for it. And I graduated with a bachelor's in music education, went and got a job teaching middle school and high school vocal music at a district in southern Minnesota. And that's what I did for the first 2 years out of college. That was before figuring out that I wasn't very good at it, or certainly not as good at it as I wanted to be at the time. So I decided to apply to graduate schools to start to fill in the gaps on my education so I could be better at my job. And that search brought me and my then girlfriend, who is now my wife, down to Tallahassee so that we could attend Florida State University, get some master's degrees. And I actually finished mine back in May of 2020, which means I had to begin looking for gainful employment again. And so I am employed as a middle school vocal music teacher here in Tallahassee. And okay, guys, woof. The world ain't what it used to be. My Jesus. Let's talk about teaching during a pandemic. Okay, so I got my job, which I am incredibly thankful for, at arguably the best middle school that someone could teach in Tallahassee. And I really don't think there's an argument that goes the other way. I have, without a doubt, the best, hardest working, most considerate, and well-prepared administration that I could have asked for. The staff at my middle school are incredible. I have never been welcomed in and sort of ushered into, collegial friendship the way that I have been at this middle school. That just simply didn't happen in my first job. I could have gone at my first job, and virtually no one really cared or paid attention. It was just a sort of a different culture. But here, oh man, teachers are looking out for me whether I even know their names yet or not. It's the coolest thing. And then, of course, we have the kids. If anything, if all the things about teaching right now suck, the thing that doesn't suck is the fact that I have bright, wide-eyed, curious, energetic middle schoolers in my life again. And if you're a teacher, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you've had kids or had teenagers, then you know both sides of what I'm talking about. But it's just the best part of my life right now. Outside of my home, outside of my marriage. Yes, honey, you are the best. You are the shiniest star in my sky, I promise. Other than my fantastic, wonderful new marriage, being able to teach again is the best part of my current life situation. But it doesn't come without its challenges, like the fact that the middle school I teach in typically has a capacity of almost 900 students in it at a time, and right now, on a daily basis, we see no more than about 240 students in person, and the remaining 600 some odd students are all receiving their education online through Zoom and through various other digital learning management systems and tools. So yeah, I teach hybrid, and if you're wondering, wait dude, you teach chorus, how do you, with coronavirus, and but that's singing, what does that mean? So here's how a typical hour of mine goes, and I'm not going to spare you the gritty details because I think some people truly have no idea what teachers are doing right now, and it would be good perspective for you to actually hear what we are doing right now to have to teach. So, when I get to school, the very first thing I do is just make sure I've got my lesson plan for the day, my lesson plans in front of me, sorted out, and that I have everything prepared. Then I'm going to check my email. Those first two steps are not too unusual. It's pretty much what every professional does in some way, shape, or form whenever they get to their office. To make sure they've got a plan for the day, and then they check their emails, make sure they're caught up on any information that they need, and then they begin whatever their first task is. Well, for me, mine is starting up my Zoom classroom. That's right. One of the first things I do when it is time to be in class is I start up my Zoom stream. I position my laptop with my webcam in the position it needs to be. And then my actual brick and mortar kids show up. Let me give you a little perspective about the number of brick and mortar kids we have. In my first period class, there is a Bentley. And I am easily distracted. A Mulsanne? Maybe? Beautiful. Anyway, so in my first class, there are 20 students registered for my first class. Only 4 come to my classroom. The other 16 are online. Now, if you're wondering what a chorus classroom sounds like with only 4 kids in it, I will tell you it's not very loud. But it's not that the kids that are there aren't singing, it's just that 12 and 13-year-olds aren't supposed to make really loud room-filling sounds. It takes, 15, 20, 30 of them to get that kind of sound. So when you've only got 4, yeah, things are a little softer than you might expect. But what do you do for singing for those kids online? We literally sing. I've got a special microphone set up at my piano. I still do warm-ups. I still do, exercises where the students are practicing reading music. We still do rhythm training. We still do ear training. And I literally teach to Zoom the way I would teach kids if they were in my room. And I can see them on Zoom at home. They're doing the breathing exercises with us. They're doing the warm-ups with us. They're doing sight reading stuff. They're asking questions. It's actually pretty cool, I'll be honest. But it doesn't come without its challenges, its own unique setbacks, because I've got kids who their bedroom, which is where they do school, doesn't have great Wi-Fi coverage. So they can't hear me as well as other students can. I've got some kids who are using a computer that just simply does not have the technological power in it to keep up with all the activities at the same rate as other students have, and then every sort of problem in between. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. And then there's this other thing that we decided to do. If you're thinking about middle school, you're probably thinking that the average class hour is going to last between 45 to maybe 60 minutes at the longest. Well, normally that's how our hours would be, but we actually went to A day, B day schedule. So now, on A days, you go to periods 1, 3, and 5, and on B days, you go to 2, 4, and 6, which means I teach for 105 minutes at a time. And we can only sing for 30 of those minutes. So that leaves me with 75 minutes to actually have to teach other stuff that normally would kind of just be pigeonholed musical lessons if I was teaching during, a normal reality. But now I have, 75 minutes to fill where I have to actually teach full lessons, which is just a different way of organizing my actual curricular content than I would have done in years past. So 75 minutes, take out 15 minutes for a 15-minute mask break, because our students that come to school wear masks in class, but we give them a 15-minute mask break during every period so they don't have to sit there with that mask on their face for a whole 8 hours of the school day. They actually get breaks during every class hour. So then I've got an hour to teach other curricular stuff. So right now we're doing sort of a basic skills unit for reading music and understanding rhythm and understanding how to write and read music. And then I'm going to do units on things like careers in music and, different historical periods of music and music of the world. I'm going to do sort of an ethnomusicology middle school unit so that my students are exposed to stuff that doesn't necessarily come from a bunch of dead guys from Europe necessarily. And overall, it's just harder for the kids. I'm going to be honest. The whole thing is just harder for the kids, Not everybody's Wi-Fi is the same. Not everybody's technology situation is the same. And we've given computers and Chromebooks and laptops to every student that we can, that we know that needs them. But even then, not everybody's internet situation is the same for speeds. Not everybody's technology situation is the same, and not everybody's home situation is the same. For some of these kids, what they're doing is they're actually part-time babysitters for their younger siblings while mom and dad are at work, but then they're also supposed to be full-time middle school students. And you can imagine that for kids in middle school, those two roles don't really blend together that well. It's pretty tough, actually. It's a catch-22, if you will, which makes it tough for a lot of people. It really, really does. But the fact remains, a lot of our kids are doing a really, 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 really good job. And again, the people that I get to work with and the people that I get to work for are just going to every length possible and every length necessary to make sure that every kid that we can help get that full-time education experience is getting it in as high a quality manner as we absolutely can afford to them. Which, I will tell you, 4 weeks ago, I didn't think was a possibility. 4 weeks ago, I was ready to quit teaching, to be quite honest. I was ready to quit. Didn't seem possible. Didn't seem like the juice was worth the squeeze. And I just wasn't really sure that I needed to teach this year. But after a couple weeks, just like we always do, we got used to it. We figured it out, or at least a lot of it. And suddenly it wasn't so hard. Suddenly it didn't seem so impossible, and I gotta tell you, teaching is the absolute best thing I could be doing right now. I'm learning so much, I'm exposed to so much, I'm experiencing so much, and these students, no, they may not be getting the level of education that they were getting in years previous, but they are getting an education. Teachers are trying, students are trying, parents and families are trying, administration, community members, we're all trying. And these kids are getting something. And I'm actually pretty proud of that, because I know that in other parts of the country, kids are getting a heck of a lot worse deal. And as much crap as I like to give Florida for being Florida, and as much crap as I like to give to Tallahassee for being, well, Tallahassee. The fact of the matter is, Tallahassee schools are actually doing pretty well. And I'm really happy to be here. So, that's what I've got for you guys. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button to hear more motorcycle news, motorcycle information, that sort of thing. And, yeah, the occasional personal motovlog. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. Make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, leave me a comment. If you're a parent, or maybe even if you're a teacher and you have a student or you're a teacher going through this experience right now with me and alongside other teachers and students, and you've got some thoughts on it, make sure to leave those down in the comments. I'm very interested in hearing what it's like being a teacher in other parts of the country right now, because the stuff I'm reading online doesn't leave me with too much hope that it's going too well for everybody else. But yeah, this has been another Monday Motovlog. I'm the two-wheel teacher, and I'm going to see you on the road.